Be aware of the space that you're occupying with that tool, swinging with or whatever. And with a pickaxe, I'll show you how I use it, and that's the most effective way for me. And you want to retain that amount of energy. So you can see the bed is like, if I'm on one side, I can reach the middle. From the other side, I should be able to reach the middle as well. That's the basic principle. If it's too wide, I put a stepping stone in there. All right? So sort of like, well, the original thing, and there must have been one missing there, is I can reach this bed from either side without stepping into where I'm harvesting. So those rocks can come out. You can see that. They can come out and become part of this wall or whatever. And again, try and make it so stable that if someone wants to put their hammer, they're not all going to fall off. So you can see that how the beds have to be restructured. The other plant that got planted here, and some of it has survived. Is anyone familiar with this plant?
Comfrey. Comfrey, it looks.
Does anyone want to have say a word on it?
Comfrey?
Do you want to?
It's a great medicinal.
Poultice plant.
Great for the bones.
Great tea, great for the bones.
Antibacterial. For compost, it's good for the soil.
Compost activator.
Good for stings.
Great for stings. Huh? Rebuilds tissue. I mean, God, what a plant! I mean, hello.
I repaired
Why isn't it everywhere?
I was in the hospital. I broke my elbow.
There you go.
Yeah.
Do you know it's on the toxic food list? What? This plant is on the world toxic food list to be ingested internally. It's on the toxic food list. So this is also what we're talking about in permaculture. It's about empowerment. It's about getting to know the medicines. It's not just about a plant anymore. These are medicinal, amazing healing plants we need to re-inform ourselves about. Now the other beautiful thing about comfrey, it's an amazing edge plant. What it does is when we were talking about edges, see how we've got that grass happening there? They said to me, oh, you've got to weed whack all those edges you made. Well, why didn't you guys finish planting the comfrey, for God's sake? I started it. You start the pattern. So we're going to be doing that. Some of us will start as, like this bed's pretty much nearly, just needs another path in there, and the rock's pretty well quite good looking. It hasn't been destroyed by the pigs too much. So this one, we can get a group on today or during the time to replant the comfrey all around the edge. So they don't have this grass edge thing happening.
So they can be divided. And the good thing about the comfrey at the edge too is it requires a lot of water, and so the water's all like coming down and getting it, because comfrey will just die if it doesn't have enough water.
We can pull it out and divide it. That's what we're doing. So yes, it's a heavy feeder. So it's a great plant for edges, because what we know about edges is we've got ecosystems meeting, a lot more resources there. So they soak it all up, very high in potassium. And then we can chop them back. As we divide them, we'll chop them back and throw the leaves back as mulch. If I had a compost pit happening, I'll be putting it in there. If I had a liquid manure bucket happening, it would definitely be one of my main ingredients in my liquid manure. All these fruit trees need desperate feeding. They look miserable. So I would automatically be starting in buckets. Who's here on the land? Andre. In buckets, some good liquid manure starting up. These plants need tea, feeding up to keep them.
Access.
Huh?
Quick access. Quick nutrient access.
Quick access, he's saying.
They're not necessarily quick. They're just very nutritious.
Compost tea. Compost tea.
Okay, they're very nutritious.
The compost tea.
Okay, so if maybe Andre, if you can get me